Hey new investors, tired of guessing if a rental property will pay off? I'm Sarah, and with over 10 years of experience in real estate, I've built a free rental calculator to crush your next cash-on-cash return in minutes. Today, I'm going to show you how to use it and why it's a game changer. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the channel where we cover real estate investing, entrepreneurship, and personal development. Whether you are like Ethan hunting for profitable deals or Maya planning long-term holds, this calculator simplifies your decisions. I'm going to drop the link in the show notes. And for now, I'm going to walk you through it step by step with a real example. Ready to unlock your profits? Here we go. First, let's talk cash-on-cash return, or CAC ROI. It's the annual cash flow that you get back on the cash that you invest, expressed as a percentage. The formula is simple: annual cash flow divided by total cash invested times 100. Why is it helpful? It tells you if a property is worth your money. Aim for 8 to 12% for solid returns. My calculator is going to do this math for you, of course, saving hours. Let's plug it in. Head over to the calculator. The link is in the show notes to this video in the description, as well as you can comment cash on any of my Instagram posts and it'll automatically send it to your DMs. So let's pull it up and get started. So here is the calculator. Now that you guys are in, I'm going to give you a quick tour of the calculator so you know how it works, and you can do this on your own anytime that you're analyzing a rental property. So let's jump right into it. Our very first spot, first we need to know our purchase price. So let's use a $200,000 Florida property as our example. A typical down payment is going to be 20% of the purchase price. So in this case, that would put us at $40,000. So let's input here $40,000. We're going to go down to closing costs next. Let's estimate about $5,000 in closing costs, which is typical for this price point. For repairs, I'm only going to estimate about $5,000 because typically when I'm buying a long-term buy and hold, I'm not looking to do a ton of repairs. If you do have more than that, obviously adjust your numbers accordingly. Commissions. So this one I'm going to leave as a 0 because in this case, the seller was willing to pay the buyer's agent's commission, and therefore that's not on us as the buyers. So that is a 0. Down here, the HOA, there's no HOA here, so we'll leave that as a 0. Insurance, I'm going to estimate, because we're in Florida, about $200 a month, which is about $2,400 a year. That'll obviously vary depending on properties and flood zones and things like that. Marketing, I'm going to do this myself, so we're not going to have a whole lot of marketing for our long-term rentals. If you have a bigger portfolio or you're doing more marketing, that information would go here. Next, we have tools, apps, and systems. That's going to be similar like an apartments.com or Stella or other systems like that that you might be using for your business. I'm going to leave it as 0 for this case. And then we also have other money invested in the property for additional things that are not included here. If something comes up, just pop it in there. Next, we're going to move on to income. So this particular property is going to yield us about $1,000 a month in income. So annually, that would be $12,000 a year for easy math. Non-refundable deposits are going to be any portion of a security deposit that is automatically non-refundable that you're going to keep. That way there's a spot here for you to clock that as income. I'm going to leave it as 0 in this case. We're going to scroll down to property management. If you're planning on managing the property yourself, this will stay 0. For me, we typically pay about 10% of our rental income, which would be about $100 a month or $1,200 a year. So I'm going to put that in here. Again, no HOA. For maintenance, I'm going to put about $50 a month or $600 for the year, since we already know it's in good condition. The utilities and trash, for us, the tenants are going to pay for that, so that's not something that we need to include here. But if that's something that you're going to be including in your lease, you can put that right here. Mortgage. So what is your annual mortgage amount? So let's say that it was $700 a month or $3,500 a year for the mortgage. And let's say our property taxes are $100 a month or $1,200 a year. Pop that in. And then we've already covered our insurance. If you have separate landlord insurance, you can pop that in here. And then again, any other expenses. So let's scroll down to the bottom, and here everything is calculated for you. So we have total cash invested is $52,400. The total annual income, $12,000. Total annual expenses is $6,500, and total annual pre-tax cash flow / income, $5,500. The cash-on-cash return is 10.5%. So that does fall above that 8 to 12% range, which is our minimum. So this is hovering right around that minimum to show us that it is a good investment. Now, could you beat it with a 20% ROI? Of course. But at bare minimum, now you know how to use this calculator and use it for any of the properties that you might have analyzing coming up. Why is this a must-have? It saves on the guesswork. I have lost money on bad deals without it. For wholesalers, it flags properties needing cash fixes before flipping. For holds, it ensures that cash flow beats inflation. Entrepreneurs can pitch investors with data, personal development fans can gain confidence in decisions. In 2025's market, with rising interest rates, this keeps you ahead. Use it to negotiate better terms or avoid the duds. That's how to master my rental calculator for cash-on-cash return on investment, your shortcut to smarter investing. With my 10 plus years, I've seen its power firsthand. Like if this helped, comment your ROI goal below and subscribe for more tips. Don't forget to hit the bell and grab this free tool in my show notes. The link to the calculator will be there, and share it with a friend. Let's build wealth together, and I'll see you guys in the next video.